Hello, magic people, and welcome to the Jankyard. Today, I'm going to be playing a Hydra tribal deck. Now, as some of you probably know, this deck is one of my favorites because I've played the previous iteration of it during the War of the Spark meta quite a lot, especially those of you who watched my stream. Know that I've played the deck quite a lot, and I decided now to make the deck again, to make quite a few changes to the deck as well, and try it that way. So we are using quite a few Hydras. For example, we are using the Hungering Hydra, which basically says that besides the fact that it cannot be blocked by more than one creature and it gets a +1/+1 every time it's dealt damage, which is very good. You can also, because as you can see, it costs 1 green and X, so the X is basically the amount of power and toughness it has, which can make it very strong, since it's very easy for us to ramp up with this deck. Now, some other Hydras we have is, of course, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game, the Hydra Crisis. It's been with us for quite a long time. Of course, we all know what it does, so I'm not going to explain it. We have 2 copies of Voracious Hydra, which basically says that it gets a +1/+1 counter equal to the number of X you pay. So basically you pay 2 green plus the X. It already has 1 toughness, which is very good actually, because the second ability says that when it enters the battlefield, it fights another creature. The first ability says that you double the amount of counters on the Hydra. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful one, because you can get out of some sticky situations when you're facing very tricky creatures that you cannot kill, or if you are stabilized, you can double the amount of counters, making this card quite powerful. And also, if you don't have a lot of mana, you can still pay 4 mana, and instead of having a 4/5, you can have a 8/9 out of nowhere. We also have, of course, Bioessence Hydra, which, as you probably know, gets a +1/+1 for its loyalty counter on the planeswalkers you control, and gets a +1/+1 every time you put a +1 counter on a planeswalker you control. And we also have this new one here, the Gargos Vicious Watcher, which basically says that the Hydra spells that you cast cost 4 less, and whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, Gargos fights with the target creature. So it's quite powerful. Yes, it costs 6 mana with 3 green, but it doesn't matter too much, because we don't have a lot of cards that cost blue here, so we don't have a lot of necessarily only blue mana. So it's not that difficult for us to summon this card on the board, even though even without this card the other Hydras are quite powerful anyway. So of course we have ways to ramp up. We have 4 copies of Land Elves and 4 copies of Paradise Druid. And since we do have we also have Leyline of Abundance, which is quite a powerful card. First of all, if you are lucky enough to have it in your hand, in the opening hand, you can play it on the board right away. Now if you don't, paying 4 mana for it is gonna make you wait a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Also, you can have an additional green from your mana dorks, so instead of 1 green mana from your Lana War Elves, you have 2, which is quite powerful. And the other ability, as you can see, is 6 + 2 green, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, even though I have to admit that I haven't used that ability yet, and it's not really necessary because most of your creatures are very strong anyway, but it's nice to have it. So of course, since we are running the Bioessence Hydra, we have planeswalkers, so 3 copies of Nissa, 3 copies of Vivian Reed, and 4 copies of Vivian Champion of the Wilds. Now you can play around with the numbers of the planeswalkers. We have Kiora here. You can play around with the numbers of the planeswalkers. I just put as many as I had. for example, I had like 2 copies of this. Maybe you can add another one, to be honest. I only have 2 of them. But yeah, you can play around with the numbers. Now, a card that I added after a few games I played is this card here, Icon of Ancestry. Basically, you select a creature type, in our case is Hydra, and then our Hydras get +1/+1. Now, the cool thing about this card is that by paying 3 and tapping it, you can take a look at the top 3 cards of your library and put a creature of the chosen type among them from the library to the hand, and then put the rest of them at the bottom. So it's kind of like the search for Scanta, kind of, but for creatures, which is fine. Yeah, it's not a necessary card to have in the deck, but it could be helpful. Also, given a +1/+1 on everything, it's nice. But the search aspect of it makes it quite good. It's only costs 3 mana, so it's fine. I mean, you could add another one as well. You can have 3 of them instead of 2. Again, I added as many as I have. But this is pretty much the deck. The goal, of course, is to summon the Hydras as soon as possible and try to run over the opponent that way. This is the mana base. It's not perfect, but it's fine so far. I mean, we also have the dorks, the mana dorks, so we have some extra mana from there. We don't need too much blue, so we are fine. We basically need the Hydroid Crisis, the Kiora, which is not even necessary, and the Biosense Hydra, the only 3 cards that need blue, so no problem there. Anyway, this is pretty much the deck, so without further ado, let's play some games. I think we keep this because we have easy ramping, even though it's gonna take us a while until we summon something on the board. Something big, I mean. Also, another card you could add to the deck is the Bond of Flourishing, I think it's called. Basically, that will allow you to, you know, search for certain search for a card in your deck. You could make some changes to the deck. I mean, it's by no means perfect, but it plays quite well from what I've seen. Also, you could go with the Proliferate package, like the previous deck I had with the Hydra. Also, by the way, sorry for not having a camera on. I talked in the previous video why I haven't made videos in a while, and that's basically the reason why I don't have a camera on. I'm kind of feeling under the weather. Okay, so now the question is, do we play this? Do we play this? So I think we should, before we play this Hydra, we need to play this. So it's either this Hydra or this card. Playing the Hydra is not bad, but it's gonna be only a 4/4, so I think we can wait. We can wait, and we are going to play. Yeah, I'm gonna play the ley line now. Alright, that's kind of funny. So realistically, I would love to play another ley line. Now we cannot deal with the flyers anyways, so I feel like we should play this so the other Hydras will be a bit cheaper. Then we can play the ley line and take it from there. As you can see, the ley line is extremely useful when it comes to ramping up. The only problem I have is that we cannot get rid of the flyers. Now we do have the Vivian, champion of the wilds, that I think gives a reach to everything, to one creature, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to play the ley line. Because now we will be able to play this as well. And now we can attack to our opponent. Now our Hydra doesn't have vigilance, but it's not the end of the world. At least we get rid of their creatures. Yeah, this is basically how the deck is supposed to function. The problem is that we are being pressured. Oh, why now? Why now? Well, okay. We still have a lot of mana, it's not like the end of the world, but maybe I don't know. The thing is that we couldn't defend the flyers anyways. That's why I took my sweet time with that. So we're gonna lose here, most likely. Okay, so we could try to play to this, activate this ability, and try to find Hydroid Crisis and gain some life, which I think is the only way to do it, because even if we summon something, we cannot deal with our flyers anyway. And nope, nothing. Even if I get one flyer, I'm gonna lose anyway. So yeah, this is how the deck functions pretty much. Maybe I should have taken a different approach here, but still. So let's play some more games. It's actually funny, there's a Hydra in the background there. So I'm keeping again. Also we have a ley line in the hand, which is good. Okay, so our opponent is playing kind of a weird deck apparently. We'll see. Of course, we start with Kollros. Now we're going to try to ramp up, of course, here to the Kollros. I'm going to play Kiora now. I could have played the Druid first, but okay, yeah. Well, that happens. It's a good thing well, our planeswalkers are susceptible to this, but our creatures are not affected by this. Negate, so if he has a lot of things like negate, we don't have to worry too much about it. So next time we can play our Hydra. Okay. And he keeps it on top. Does he want another? Another Kumena? Obviously we don't block. Okay, so let's play the Hydra for now and we'll see what will happen next. So now we can play this or not play this. Yeah, I don't see the point of doing it, so I'm going to pass the turn for now. So our Hydra is quite strong to deal with his creatures for now. Of course he can still kill it. Apparently he doesn't care about that. So, if we play this, we have these two here for the blue and the green, and we have 1, 6, but this costs 4 less, so it's gonna cost 2, I think. I'm still not sure how to count when this thing is on the board. Okay, now he's gonna take it in the face, and we are very close to win here, since our crisis is pretty strong and it can fly. Okay, so the crazy is going to attack. He's gonna go down to 2. And the question is what happens next. Now we can put the +1/+1 counter on the crazies, which is a good idea. So let's do that actually. Maybe I should have given vigilance to it first. Yeah, probably that's what I should have done.
More reliable than humans. All things begin and end in nature.
As long as he cannot block my crazies or kill it, we are not in any, situation, weird situation here. Apparently he can. Okay. That's a little bit of a problem, but not a huge issue. Now I'm going to get rid of these, at least without them she won't be able to draw more cards. I'm losing the mana dot, but it's not a big deal. Now I could technically play the ley line. And then play one of the planeswalkers. I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's summon our own Nisa.
I will protect the virtue of this world. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
And now we can summon Vivian Raid. It's a shame we don't have a bias in Hydra now.
Wild animals I like. People, not so much. Balance comes.
Well, it doesn't really matter which creature I choose.
The mysteries of life are endless.
The good thing is that he's out of cards as well in the hand.
Rise, my elemental friend. Behold, nature's true power.
Alright.
Harness the elements.
I might have miscounted and I probably did. And yes, I could have doubled it just for fun, but it doesn't make too much of a difference, I think. Yeah, I probably miscounted again. Anyways, so
You fight like a city brat. You can't stop nature.
find a way. Rise, my elemental friend. The land shall conquer you!
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
So now we just need to get back one tile and that's it. Unless I'm missing something. And that was it. So, as you saw, aside from the fact that it is quite tricky for me to calculate how many mana do I need to spend on my Hydras when the Kollros is on the board, other than that, I personally don't have any other difficulties with the deck, and it's pretty fun to play with it. As you saw, it can create quite powerful creatures. And you can just destroy your opponent with them. So I think that's enough for today. Please tell me down in the comments below if you want me to play this deck again in the future. But other than that, I will have to leave you for now, and I'll see you in the next video. And until then, enjoy yourselves.